Good day, everyone. So, today I'm going to discuss the descriptive and experimental research. From our lesson introduction, descriptive research is an exploratory research method. It enables researchers to precisely and methodologically describe a population, circumstance, or phenomenon. As the name suggests, descriptive research describes the characteristics of the group, situation, or phenomenon being studied without manipulating variables or testing hypotheses. This can be reported using surveys, observational studies, and case studies. You can use both quantitative and qualitative method to compile the data. Besides making observations and then comparing and analyzing them, descriptive studies often develop knowledge concepts and provide solutions to critical issues. It always aims to answer how the event occurred, when it occurred, where it occurred, and what the problem or phenomenon is. Characteristics of descriptive research. The following are some of the characteristics of descriptive research. Quantitativeness. Descriptive research can be quantitative as it gathers quantifiable data to statistically analyze a population sample. These numbers can show patterns, connections, and trends over time and can be discovered using surveys, polls, and experiments. The next characteristic is qualitativeness. Descriptive research can also be qualitative. It gives meaning and context to the numbers supplied by quantitative descriptive research. Researchers can use tools like interviews, focus groups, and ethnographic studies to illustrate why things are what they are and help characterize the research problem. This is because it's more explanatory than exploratory or experimental research. Uncontrolled variables. Descriptive research differs from experimental research in that researchers cannot manipulate the variables. They are recognized, scrutinized, and quantified instead. This is one of its most prominent features. Cross-sectional studies. Descriptive research is a cross-sectional study because it examines several areas of the same group. It involves obtaining data on multiple variables at the personal level during a certain period. It's helpful when trying to understand a larger community's habits or preference. The next one is carried out in a natural environment. Descriptive studies are usually carried out in the participants' everyday environment, which allows researchers to avoid influencing responders by collecting data in a natural setting. You can use online surveys or survey questions to collect data or observe. Basis for further research. You can further dissect descriptive research outcomes and use them for different types of investigation. The outcomes also serve as a foundation for subsequent investigations and can guide future studies. For example, you can use the data obtained in descriptive research to help determine future research designs. Then, descriptive research methods. There are three basic approaches for gathering data in descriptive research. These are the observational, case study, and survey. Survey. You can use surveys to gather data in descriptive research. This involves gathering information from many people using a questionnaire and interview. This remain the dominant research tool for descriptive research design. Researchers can conduct various investigations and collect multiple types of data, quantitative and qualitative, using surveys with diverse designs. You can conduct surveys over the phone, online, or in person. Your survey might be a brief interview or conversation with a set of prepared questions intended to obtain quick information from the primary source. Next one is observation. This descriptive research method involves observing and gathering data on a population or phenomena without manipulating variables. It is employed in psychology, market research, and other social science studies to track and understand human behavior. Observation is an essential component of descriptive research. It entails gathering data and analyzing it to see whether there is a relationship between the two variables in the study. This strategy usually allows for both qualitative and quantitative data analysis. Experimental research. So, experimentation is a useful form of analysis that professionals use in a variety of industries. Experimental research is a method of gathering information and data on a subject through observation in controlled settings. Understanding the benefits of experimental research design can help you better use it in your professional career. Experimental research is a form of comparative analysis in which you study two or more variables and observe a group under a certain condition or groups experiencing different conditions. By assessing the results of this type of study, you can determine correlations between the variables applied and their effects on each group. Experimental research uses the scientific method to find preferable ways of accomplishing a task for providing a service. Types of experimental research. There are three different types of experimental research design, divided by key elements related to how you conduct each experiment. Within these types, there are also subdivisions that the behaviors within the experiment can affect. The three main types of experimental research designs are: number one, pre-experimental research. A pre-experimental research study is an observational approach to perform an experiment. It's the most basic style of experimental research. Pre-experimental research can occur in one of these design structures: one-shot case study research design. In this form of experimental research, experimenters subject a single group to stimulus and test them at the end of the application. This allows researchers to gather results for performance by individuals or entities subject to the stimuli being tested. Next one is the one group pretest post-test design. In this type of research, researchers apply a test both before and after the applications of the stimuli. This provides a comparison of performance with and without application for researchers to make judgments about the effects of the stimuli on the group of subjects. So this pretest and post-test is ginagawa before and after natin magturo sa mga students um, na subject ng ating research. The next one is static group comparison design. In a static group comparison, researchers assess two different groups with only one group receiving the stimuli the researchers are assessing. Testing occurs at the end of the process, allowing the researchers to compare the results from the subjects who received the stimuli against those who didn't. Number two, quasi-experimental research. Similar to true experimental research, experimenters can apply it in similar ways. The primary distinction between the two is the lack of randomization when assigning participants to groups in a quasi-experimental study. This usually occurs because of rules or regulations that prevent researchers from applying random allocations in some settings, such as a research study at a university. Number three, true experimental research. The main method of applying untested research to a subject under true experimental conditions, participants receive randomized assignments to different groups in the study. This removes any potential for bias in creating study groups to provide more reliable results. These are a few designs structures a researcher may use when performing experimental research, which differ based on the number and style of groups used. So, this use post-test only control group design. In this design structure, a researcher divides participants into two groups at random. One group acts as a control and doesn't receive the stimuli being tested, while the second group does receive the stimuli researchers are assessing. Researchers perform tests at the end of experiment to determine the practical results of being exposed to the stimuli. Next is pretest post-test control group design. Under this structure, researchers provide tests to the participants both before and after the non-control group receives exposure to the stimuli. Researchers test groups twice, so this structure provides multiple methods of assessing the results. Experimenters can examine changes in performance for the non-control group, and they may also determine if any changes occur due to the participants undergoing the same test twice. This may do they may do this by checking if the control group has also changed, which researchers can then use to make adjustments as needed when analyzing the data. And the next, the Solomon 4 group design. This is the most comprehensive design structure for an experimental research project. Under the Solomon for group design, participants receive an assignment to one or four randomly allocated groups. These groups provide all four possible permutations for both control and non-control groups and post-test or pre-test and post-test control groups. Having a comprehensive set of data with multiple ways of differentiating between groups can enhance researchers' abilities to reach conclusions based on the resulting data. Then, let's come to the experimental research example. A company seeking to market a new product options to run two different versions of advertisements as part of a marketing campaign. Using digital advertising through social media networks and advertising platforms allows the company to view detailed breakdowns of ad performance. This allows for the quick assessment of different options to optimize the company's marketing plan. The company tracks the performance of both advertisements to determine which is more effective. After multiple rounds of testing, the company determines that one advertisement receives more engagement and leads to more purchases than the other. The company then transfers the marketing budget to the better advertisement options. For my reflection, descriptive research serves as the initial step in understanding the intricacies of a phenomenon by meticulously observing and documenting its characteristics and patterns. Through methods such as surveys, observations, and case studies, descriptive research uncovers valuable insights into behaviors, attitudes, and trends within populations. Its strength lies in its ability to generate hypotheses and guide further inquiry, laying the groundwork for more targeted research endeavors. Experimental research, on the other hand, takes a more hands-on approach by actively manipulating variables to explore cause and effect relationships. This method, reminiscent of conducting a controlled experiment in a laboratory, allows researchers to test specific hypotheses and determine the effects of interventions or treatments with greater precision. By systematically varying conditions and controlling extraneous factors, experimental research enables researchers to draw firmer conclusions about the causal mechanisms underlying phenomena. While descriptive research provides a rich tapestry of information about the subject, experimental research adds depth and clarity by rigorously testing hypotheses and establishing causal relationships. Teach together, these approaches form the backbone of scientific inquiry, driving the advancement of knowledge and the development of evidence-based practices in various fields. That's all of my discussion. I hope you understand and thank you for listening.